All right, let's see what we got. I guess we clocked in. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. And as far as I go, listen, man, I play dumb, but I never been a fool. I am as wise as a serpent and as a wolf. I am as cunning as a fox, as bold as a lion, and having the state of mind of a dove. You hear me? So, but I also go by the name of Lespri. So welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here again. So what I do pretty much as a spiritual healer, I am a spiritual healer. So what I do is that I help you to become Christ-like, to become Buddha-like, to become Krishna-like. And what that simply means, okay? That simply means is that I help you to attain your level of consciousness, the highest clarity or level of understanding of the self, of you. That's what it is to become Christ-like, to become Buddha-like. So now, the way that I go about doing that to help you, to attain that massive awakening, or another way of saying that, to become awakened, to be the anointed one. Again, all of that simply means you attaining your highest level of consciousness. But for you to do that now, it's important for you to become in alignment with you. What that means is you would have to embody both emotional aspect of yourself and your mental aspect. They both has to come together. And I also help you with that. But the reason why that is it's a vital, it's that's the requirement. In fact, you that's the only way for you to attain your highest level of consciousness. And the reason being, we all know sometimes when someone is being too emotional, right? You see it all the time. Then it's safe to say that it's almost like their emotions are blocking their vision. I mean, it's right in front of them, but they can't see it. And then a lot of people, so now that goes to show you when you're not emotionally balanced, how you gonna the high state of awakening or clarity or consciousness about self. It's not gonna happen. And the same thing also goes if, some people would look at a situation like this. And by the way, let me say this because we're going to be talking about your inner vision, right? And I guess this is, a good foundation to sort of like introduce the topic that we'll be talking about tonight. In terms of inner vision, that's when you realize, that's how you see things around here. So by them being emotionally unbalanced, doesn't allow them to have the inner vision that is needed for them to see what's really taking place about them. Because how you truly see this world is through your understanding. That's why your son, or I know my son, could be next to me, and here we are sharing the same space and time, yet the way I'm looking at reality, the way he's looking at it, that's how you could tell, yo, this is a kid. But you're also saying is the more understanding they will have, well, their vision and of reality will change. Anyway, but it was worth, I guess, we're just trying to set some foundations so you understand once we get there, and besides, I'm just being a little bit extra too. It is what it is. But anyway, so that's important. Now, on the flip side of it, some people would look at a situation like this, and that's what I see. And then people say, you know what, you have to control your emotions. But being emotionally balanced or controlled, it's not to suppress your emotions. And I think that's what a lot of people think. So when they're saying for you to control your emotions, meaning now you're going to have to become more intellect And when you suppress that, well, guess what you're doing? That is exactly what the recipe or the foundation of toxicity is. So I'm saying that to say you definitely don't want to go that route. You don't want to suppress your emotions at all. You have a better understanding of how you feel. Or, having the ability to understand what your emotions are telling you, but also, for you to remove any type of blockages that you may feel. That's how you control your emotions. But anyway, for most people, they would say because of that, they would be like, you know what? Let's just suppress the emotion, and that's how they call it controlling your emotions. Especially for men, the typical type. You don't cry, you don't do none of that shit. Okay, but anyway, you know, um, so some people would decide to become more mental, meaning to become more intellect. Oh shit! I gotta give this shit a minute. Whew. Anyway, so, but again, it's not correct because if you do that, now you become very rigid. You become robotic. You are unable to connect with other people on a fucking emotional level, and you need to have that because we are all emotional being anyway. I mean, whether we do it through music, passion, whatever the fuck, we are emotional beings, and that's why there is such a thing as being emotionally intelligent. You know, we'll get there, but that's what the Christ pretty much is. And for you to attain the highest level of consciousness, those two parts of you need to come together. And that's how you become whole, the yang and the yin. You become the perfect man, not because you're flawless, but because you complete in terms of your masculinity and your femininity comes together. Another way of saying that, your intellect and your mind, however you choose to look at yourself. And that's what pretty much becoming Christ-like is, man. But anyway, going back to what I was saying before, that's why it's important for you to understand both, or those two aspects of yourself have to come together. Now, obviously, I sort of like give it away, but to talk about it a little more in details. So to become emotionally balanced, what that is pretty much is for you to be in charge of your emotion and understand your emotional patterns or emotions, being in touch with them, and then having the ability now to identify when something's not right. You're like, oh man, why am I feeling this way? Okay, is that what it is? I'm a little bit disappointed. Then you understand that part of you. In fact, in the occult, which I'll be talking about shortly, we talk about something called doing your shadow work. The shadow work is dealing with the shadow self, meaning the part of yourself that you do not see. The emotional aspect of yourself. I mean, there's other part of you. That's why, again, without me jumping ahead of myself here, once you know who you are spirit. You are more than your physical body. And this is not a fucking opinion. This is not belief. This is just knowing who you are. That's why when we talk about spirituality, it's you. It's you smoking or choose not to smoke. It's you having hair, whatever the fuck. Doesn't make a difference. So it's not something outside of you. None of that shit. Oh man, we got some shit to talk about. But anyway, that's exactly what it is. So now when you're doing your shadow work, you're dealing with that aspect of yourself, those non-physical, but mostly emotions. You're trying to, okay, we say you have to heal your wounded child, referring to those early disappointments that you may have had, and then that shape your life to a certain way. Let's just say if you were bit by a fucking dog, next time you see a dog, you don't want to be near a dog. And then you grow up, and guess what? You know what I'm saying? At my house, there's no dogs allowed in my fucking house. Or you wouldn't go to places that has it. Whatever the fuck. Do you kind of get the point? So now for you to free yourself of that emotion, then you're gonna have to go back, healing that wounded child. This is what happened. And then now if you choose to face it, which I don't see why not, then you will have the ability to do so. And this is what, how, and this is what and what it means to be set by you know who you are. They'll set you free. You best believe it would, because you'll be in touch with another aspect of yourself. And here we go again. I don't want to give it too much away, but it's all connected. I mean, it's important for you to identify what you identify with. Oh man, I'm getting ahead of myself here. But anyway, so now that was dealing with your emotion. I mean, with your emotions and becoming emotionally balanced. Now, on the flip side of that, to become mentally balanced, and that entails now you understanding how your mind works and understanding how and how you being shaped by your relationships, meaning the school that you go to, that is a relationship, your parents, the culture, the country that you were born in. Every culture's bias. Their shit is everybody's just the best. Man, I'm Haitian, so you can tell me nothing. Oh, food is better, everything. You have to understand that. Then now, once you understand it, now you're not just, what I'm saying, you're not just being led by it. Like for me, okay, well, you know what I'm saying? But that's only because I was able to become mentally balanced for myself. If your mind's being controlled by the external, how do you become mentally balanced? You're following orders. Yeah, you not gonna. I mean, if you wouldn't be able to be part. I mean, to be in the kingdom of God, because this is where the free. Like this is for. This is only for the free people, for the free men.